This is Up Front, a brand new show here on Shaw TV Thompson. I'm your host, Bruce Krentz. The idea of the show here, putting Thompsonites and Northerners up front. Our first season focuses on entertainers and musicians in Thompson. We've got an unbelievable amount of local talent, and we want to showcase some of it right here, right now. We're in the rehearsal space of Northern Dysfunktion and a couple other bands here at R.D. Parker High School, but Northern Dysfunktion are right here, and take it away. Let's do this. Play us a tune. How cool was that? I wish that everybody that was watching this show could be standing here in the middle of this circle, because that was like an unbelievable powerful experience. That's crazy. Okay, you guys can you like everybody kind of gather over here? So not only was that super kind of powerful and crazy to me, you want to hold that? Here, we'll all go in a line like school pictures kind of. But I remember the first time that I saw you guys play. So basically, you guys are a bunch of my friends, and we all like sort of play together and cross paths in a bunch of different circles. And then the first time I actually saw Northern Dysfunktion play, I was like, these goosebumps. See, I have goosebumps right now. But and watching that time too, it was like unbelievable to see that a bunch of your friends and people that you cross paths with all the time are so talented and can make crazy music like this. So like top marks to you guys for just sort of doing that and not just being a like basement garage band, right? So top shelf, top marks. I'm going to pass this one down. I just want to go down the line and just give us like a little bit of a snapshot, a little look back on how did you end up here. So what's your formal training? What have you kind of done in the past? You don't get 20 minutes. Everybody gets like 2, and then I get the hook out.
Individually or as a group?
Individually. No, just quickly go through each of us. Tell us what you play. I mean, I think people saw it here, but tell us what you play and sort of how did you end up here?
Well, my name's Kevin Lewis. I'm a saxophonist in the band. A band teacher by trade. Work here at Artie Parker now for 9 years. Studied at Brand University, did a Bachelor of Music, Bachelor's of Education, and just playing with as many groups as possible.
I'm Sarah Lewis. I play trumpet in the band, and I was originally a French horn player, and I went to school to be a teacher, and I studied classical French horn, and really wanted to do something more fun like this, and play jazz too. So I recently, last year, went to U of M to study with Derek Gardner, who's a killer trumpet player, and I learned a lot about jazz and a lot about the trumpet, so it has made playing in this band a lot more fun.
Just a quick little thing. So you also play piano. Everybody here plays a bunch of different stuff, and I just love that. Freaks me out always that people can play a bunch of instruments. But you started on piano, but what caught your eye or your attention to the trumpet? Like you were, just one day you were watching YouTube videos and you're like, the trumpet's awesome?
Yeah, well, I guess it was before YouTube, but like when I was in senior jazz in high school, I played piano because I played piano, and they really needed a piano player, and I really wanted to play the trumpet in jazz, and I didn't get to do it, and I've kind of always wanted to since then, and I've always thought it'd be really fun to play in a horn section, so that's why I'm here.
I mean, it looks crazy fun. So fantastic. Stevie, you play a couple different instruments too. I know we play in a woodwind quartet. You're playing the piano here. You play tuba in the community band. So give us a snippet. You're BU too, right?
Yes, I am. So my name is Stevie MacPherson. I teach band here in the division as well. So I went to university to study the clarinet as my main instrument. So when an opening came in the ensemble for a keyboard player, I was very nervous, but it was a challenge that I was willing to accept, and I've had to work really hard at it, but it's been so much fun. I'm also playing piano in the Bonnie situation as well now. So, I mean, I think there's been some cool opportunities here in town for that. Yeah. So it's been really, really fun.
We've got an amazing, I mean, just the amount of music that's happening in Thompson right now. Maybe it was always here and I missed it, or I'm going to throw this one to Jeff a little bit because he's been in the scene for a bit, but is there more happening right now than there has been for a while, or did I just miss it for a while?
No, I think you're right. I think there's more going on in the last couple of years than there was for quite a while. Probably 25 years ago, there was a really strong music scene, and then there's always been a few bands here and there, but the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's been exceptionally good. I mean, there's all kinds of talent in the town, for sure.
I'm with you 100%. The Folk Fest was unbelievable, and then that kind of faded away. So, Katie, you're singing.
Yes.
Have you sung in front of people before?
I have, yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so my name's Katie Ann Papizo Nemeth. I do sing. I'm the choral director at the high school here. We've been in Thompson for 4 years. And I actually am classically trained. So I studied classical voice at the University of Lethbridge. I did a B-Muse there, and then I went and did a master's in vocal performance as well in Ottawa. So classical is my comfort zone. Funk has been a challenge, but it's been a welcomed challenge. So it's been fun. I can't say I've had experience in funk or jazz before I came to Thompson here, but it's been fun to explore a new style.
It's good. And were you honestly excited about the funk the first time, or was it like,
oh, no.
Whatever, Mark's playing guitar, I'm going to come, I'll give it a shot?
I was actually quite intimidated, and I'm sure they could speak about how I've changed a little bit in a few years, but yeah, I remember sounding very, very classical the first time we tried singing. I think it was respect, and I just felt so uncomfortable. But yeah, it's, the more you do it, the better and the easier it becomes. So
Out of your zone. No, I mean, you guys sound fantastic and you're great, so it's so cool. And I wonder if there's another funk band this far north in Canada. I'd be curious to know. I mean, there's not that there aren't any out there, but anyway.
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
We'd have to
Maybe
research that.
Throw that on the Facebook site. Gabby Larocque, here's another disclaimer. So we had Rashad Palta on the show. He was our first one on the show, and I had to throw out that I have some really favorites in the jazz band and the music program right now, and there's 3 biggies. There's actually 4. Murphy, my son, is one of them. So he's number 1, right? It's rigged. It's fixed. I have to say that he's number 1. Gabrielle, you're absolutely in my top 3. There's no doubt about it. I love OG Palta. Rashab is fantastic, and I think we got to throw a shout out to Zach Cormier because he's a killer trumpet player too, right? So you're absolutely one of my favorites. You're going on to Brandon, right?
Yeah.
Following in these guys' footsteps. But have you done anything like this before, or?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I was kind of like really surprised when I got asked, and I was super excited. And like I remember Miss was like, "Hey, so our bass player's leaving, and you might know him." And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm like trying to keep my cool. I'm just like, "Yeah." I was kind of freaking out on the inside because I really I wanted to listen to them. Like I just want to come see them all the time and stuff, and I really enjoy playing with them. So it's been an amazing experience for me.
You fit right in. Here's the little inside scoop. I know from talking to these guys, I think, I could be wrong, but Gabby actually pushed you guys a little bit just because she came in storming, memorized all the music, and was like, right? Am I right on that? Yeah. So as much as you were excited about this, I think you pushed them a little bit. Just we didn't quite say this, but you're just finishing high school right now. You're going to Brandon. So was it kind of weird coming to play with a bunch of adults and old people? Like I'm not saying they're old. I'm not saying they're old, but I mean Jeff's the same age as me, so just saying.
Some of us are old.
Was it intimidating, or were you just like blown away and thought, man, this is going to be so cool and fun? Because, I mean, it's an amazing group.
Well, at first I was a little intimidated because I was like, I really need to step up my game. I was like, kind of like, I really have to work hard for this. This is something I need to really work on. So I came in, and the first rehearsal, like everyone was super welcoming. Like they were really nice, and I mean, I knew them already, so of course, but. And it was just a really nice experience, and I remember just standing here watching everyone and hearing the room so flooded with this beautiful sound.
I was in the middle of it. It's incredible.
I was just like, I really feel like I fit in this group.
So great. And is bass your number 1? I know you sing a little bit. You've got some other skills, but what's your favorite?
Bass is my favorite. I play a lot of everything. Like, I didn't start on bass. I started bass because in jazz band I wanted to play guitar, but Mrs. Lewis came up to me and said, "Hey, I know you wanted to play guitar. We don't have a bass player. Would you be willing to learn it?" So I was like, "Sure, why not?" I picked it up, and it's been my favorite ever since.
Nothing beats playing the bass. Throw the mic over to Jeff Haney's a friend of mine. We've known each other longer than we haven't.
Yes, absolutely.
Likely, I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but probably you've got the most sort of rock experience of this group, and probably performing experience. So give us just a little snapshot, your little bio. What else are you involved in, which is basically every group in town?
Well, in quite a few, right? So like Stevie said earlier, the Bonnie situation, we do some gigs here and there whenever we can pick something up. Certainly Wolfstock, and we played something at Baco's a little while ago, and we played a benefit a couple of weeks ago, I guess, and we might be doing something in September. Another local band, Wakefire, play with a bunch of guys that, which is really heavy rock and roll kind of thing. And
it's a little different than this.
Yeah, absolutely it is, and I'd been playing in Wakefire for a little while before Kevin got a hold of me. Oh, actually, that's not true. I'd been playing in this band before they got a hold of me with Wakefire, but the adjustment with this band was coming out of the Bonnie situation because I just hit things really hard. And so there was, right? So there was a bit of an adjustment here for me to learn how to hit things not so hard and for them to get used to not going deaf every time we rehearsed, right? So it was a great opportunity to kind of grow and expand my abilities, my skill set for sure. And music that I grew up listening to, right? So I hadn't necessarily played a lot of it in the past, but I grew up listening to it. It was all standards. It was stuff that was on the radio, stuff that my parents listened to. So it was stuff that I was already kind of familiar with, and it's been an awful lot of fun.
Good, easy, fun stuff to play. Yeah. Just last quick question. Do you have any formal training?
No.
Have you ever taken a lesson?
Yes, but not with drums. I played saxophone in the school band, and then I took guitar lessons, and then I realized that I really stunk at guitar, so I started playing drums.
Better at hitting things.
Absolutely. And I took some drum lessons from a fellow here in town about 35 years ago for a little while, and then he just sort of kicked me out and sent me on my own, and I've been playing ever since.
He said someday there'll be a thing called YouTube, but in the meantime,
Just
put
keep
on some headphones and
practicing
go for it.
with your Walkman. Yes, absolutely. And I've recently picked up guitar again, and I still suck at it. That's probably, I'm always going to be a terrible guitarist, but that's okay.
Here's
It'll be
hoping you'll
fun.
get better. Pass it
Yes.
over. This guy's pretty good at guitar, actually. So,
Oh, thanks, Bruce.
Mark Nemeth, clearly you play the guitar in the band, or you're holding one now. So, give us the snapshot. What's the history?
Well, I've been playing guitar for about, oh geez, I hate when I start that sentence because I don't know how to finish it. More than 20 years, I'd say. And I studied classical guitar with Dale Ketchison in the University of Lethbridge, where I met my wife, the singer of the group. Yeah. So funk was like, I've always loved it, but I never really played it formally, or the electric guitar is kind of a newer thing to me, I guess. And it's been my pleasure to play with you guys for 4 years.
We're not going to dip into this with everybody because you guys got a bunch of cool instruments, but just give us a 1 second snapshot run through your pedal board for the gearheads. What do we all got going on there? What is all of that?
Well, 1 second is not possible, but because if you ask a guitarist about their gear, you're going to get a terrible question. But oh God. Okay. They all have a separate effect. So I've got a tuner. I've got a thing that adjusts volume. I've got. Let's not talk about that one. This one makes wah-wah pedal. That's one of the more famous ones. I could go into more detail, but we'll just pass through it. That's an overdrive pedal. It just makes things dirty. That's a delay. That's a must-have. That's a reverb. That's another must-have. It makes you sound like you're bigger than you really are. This is a compressor. It's my favorite one. Chorus, equalizer. It's hard to gloss over these things, but basically this is where the talent comes from. And if you pay enough money, you'll have more talent. So I'm almost there. I need to invest in a bigger board, but I'm getting close.
Bump up your credit line.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Let's go back. So you guys have been together for how? 2 years, 3 years? Where are we at?
It depends who you talk to.
Let's say this group.
This group?
2 years that the 7 of us have been together.
2 years that the 7 of you have been together, and I'll just throw this to you. So give us just the quick iteration. How did the band end up with these 7 people? So you started off as a jazz group, right? Kind of.
Yeah, we've had a couple iterations over the years. So we sort of started off with a jazz 3-piece that moved to a 4-piece. Out of that, we also had a community big band we were running. 5 of us got together. We wanted to play some more funky music. Started doing that as an instrumental group that went by Thompson Funk. And few people left, few people came. We eventually expanded to 7 when Mark and Katie moved to town. Our most recent additions are Gabrielle and Stevie, because we had some previous members who have left to pursue other opportunities in other parts of the province. And so this current configuration, 2 years. Probably we've been going by Dysfunction is 4 years.
Yeah.
Thompson Funk's probably been 6 years, and
Wow.
yeah, it's 9 years since we started the jazz trio and jazz quartet. So
I love that. So when these 2 guys moved to town, did your spider senses start to tingle? Was there a disturbance in the force? You're like, okay, we need these guys in the group.
oh,
right now.
absolutely. Well, especially with the jazz stuff. We were losing some people and finding out that there's some musicians moving into town that want to play some jazz stuff. It was quickly called. Mark found out about his stuff and got together. We did some playing. One of our old bass player Dan, the 3 of us did a lot of shows together, and then a drummer Nathan, who was with us for a few years, and then he left. And so it's been a real kaleidoscope of people, great individuals, a lot of fun though to meet a lot of people, and they're all over the province now. So we always have people to go and hang out with and catch up with.
Always too good. I want to do this one down the line. So the question is, I'll start with you, Kevin, but favorite moment with the band so far in any of the years, and has this been sort of the biggest showy thing that you've ever done? So sort of like rock show, kind of like up on stage in front of a bunch of people. I know like a bunch of you guys have been to university, so you're performers and stuff, but is this a whole different zone, or is it just another outing?
It's probably the more showier thing. I've done larger performances with bigger groups and stuff, but this would be this is probably the showiest thing. And so yeah, what was the other question?
Favorite one so far. What's
favorite one so
the
far?
highlight with the group?
We were debating this earlier, and it kind of depends on what iteration of the band we're talking about. But I'll stick with this current configuration. We did a show last year right before Nickel Days, and we played at the Brentwood School for their lunch on the lawn, which it was raining, so it became the lunch on the linoleum. And the kids were just fantastic. There was a ton of energy in the room. They were going nuts. Teachers couldn't control them, and we had a lot of fun with them. And that was my favorite show, I think.
Sarah, you ever been in a rock band before? Is this a rock band? It's a funk band.
Funk band.
It's kind of like a rock band.
No,
Yeah.
nothing like this before. This has been like so much fun. This is like the kind of music I want to play, and I'm like learning to have a big sound and stuff like that. So it's really fun to use it. And this is like one of my probably the most favorite thing I've ever done musically. Yeah.
Sweet. And favorite one so far?
My favorite show probably was like our first big show. We played Thompson Humane Society Woofstock fundraiser. The first one we did was most of this group, and just there was a lot of power behind us in the sound and on that stage and in that room, and I just remember feeling like goosebumps for the whole time. And now Nickel Days shows and other fundraisers we've done have been the same, but I just remember that first like impression of that. It was really cool.
Been so good. I was at that Woofstock show and you guys absolutely killed it. And it was, I think I talked to you after and you guys were saying it was kind of weird because you were very different than a bunch of the groups, right? There was, I almost think Dreadnought played that one. Maybe it wasn't Dreadnought, but anyways, there were some heavier groups that were playing that, right? And you said when you guys walked in for sound check, they were all looking like
with our trumpets and our saxophones. Yeah, we felt out of place, but we've fit in now.
Everybody else had giant compression pedals that were this big to make their sound bigger, and you guys showed up with trumpets. So, Stevie, have you done this kind of stuff before? I know you've been on the Leckman stage many times.
Many times. You know, I always think about this, and if someone had told me in university that I would be teaching band in my hometown and playing keyboard in two bands and tuba, and I don't know, it's just like it blows my mind. They'd be like, "You're crazy! Like, are you kidding me?"
And in Thompson.
And back home again. So no, other than a final recital in university playing clarinet, this is completely different than that, but it has been so much fun and has like really pushed my musicianship to like a whole different realm of music, and it's been really, really fun, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
You're in. I love it. Katie, classically trained, but not like in the funk genre. So
No,
have you
not
done
at
some
all.
big shows? What's the biggest one you've done? How does this compare?
Well, in university, I did a lot of operas. Every year, we did full staged operas.
Right? I went to you.
Right, yeah. It was very different, but an amazing opportunity. But I knew really pretty quickly that I didn't want to pursue opera performance because it's so hard to. It's hard to be successful in that, and I enjoyed the experiences when I had them, but I ended up wanting to teach, and I pursued that after school. But so this has been very different. I have been on the stage many times, but often by myself with a pianist, or sometimes Mark has played for me a few times too in my recitals. But never with a band like this. So this has been very different but fun. And our favorite, we've done a few really good gigs, but I actually really enjoyed Nickel Days last year because it felt big. It felt big. We were on a big stage. We had big sound. We didn't have a big audience, but we felt.
Paul and I were there.
Yeah. So it'll be bigger this year maybe.
Yeah.
But we had a dressing room and we had snacks, and we just we felt like we were going somewhere really cool with our band. That was such a neat experience. So we're looking forward to it again this year.
You had arrived. Did you guys have a rider? Did you put anything weird in the rider? Like no freaky.
We wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah,
Okay,
we tried
fair.
to be really simple.
Fair enough.
But it was still amazing. We had chips and fruit and beer. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was good.
Egg salad sandwiches like you would. Gabby. Oh, you should see the rider I have. Paul has to have the car at 25 degrees no matter what, any time of the year. And I get a new shirt for every show. It's crazy. That's why we were picking lint off of this one. So, Gabby, I'm guessing you haven't done a ton of shows. You've been on the Leckman stage many times, but was this different? And the first time you went out with these guys, were you terrified? Were you excited? Were you just cool as a cucumber? How was it?
I was really excited to perform with them because I think before our first performance, like with my first performance with them anyways, we only had 2 rehearsals together. But I was prepared. I was like, I can do this, and I was super excited because like everyone's amazing, and I was just super pumped about it.
So not nervous, but just like
Yeah, I was kind of like bouncing off the walls, you know.
happy times.
Usual.
And now you just love it, or are you nervous with every show?
Oh no, I'm still bouncing off the walls. No, nothing's changed. I'm still super excited.
I love it. Jeff, Rockstar, what's the biggest show you've ever been a part of, do you think? And favorite one with these guys? Maybe it's one of these, maybe it's something different. You've done a few biggies.
Certainly I've been pretty fortunate. Played Nickel Days a couple of times with a couple of different bands over the years. One of the things about growing up in Thompson and playing music in Thompson is you get a lot of opportunities to do it, right? That's for sure. And I mean, we've played a couple of shows in Winnipeg that were pretty fun and good sized crowds and everything, but probably the biggest is typically the Nickel Days show is like the biggest show of the year sort of around here. So, and it's always top notch production. Barn Dog, plug for Barn Dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do a
They're good.
top-notch
They are
job.
good.
They're good guys, easy to get along with, and they know their stuff. So they make it easy for everybody. So yeah, looking forward to it for sure. Rider backstage makes you feel like
You're somebody.
yeah,
You've arrived.
exactly, right?
You have arrived.
It's an awful lot of fun. I'd have to say probably my favorite show with this group is the first Wolfstock also, I think, because we had a great sound guy and everything was dialed in nice, and we had great monitor mix and you could hear everything really well. And the crowd was fantastic. I mean,
The vibe in the room for that first Wolfstock was
Absolutely,
bananas, right? It was crazy. It was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I mean, early in the night, and the place was packed pretty much. So, and I mean, the place was packed from the time that just about when the doors opened to when the doors closed for the night. So, it was absolutely a lot of fun. So,
it was a beauty. Mark, favorite one here, and how does it feel to be guitarist in a funk band?
It's different, and it's good to be bolstered by a group of people because, as I said, I played classical guitar, and you'd always be up on the stage alone and totally acoustic, and your hands are totally exposed, and it just feels like you have to get everything just right. And here, I could mess up a million times, and you might never know. You can edit that out, right? You can edit that out.
We'll edit that out. That also has to do with that giant pedal board thing that you got there. That hides all kinds of mistakes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're still working on that one. My favorite one would probably have to be Woodstock because I like that we were doing it for a cause that's very close to my heart. We have a dog child.
Sweet.
That we were very fond of. So, volunteering for the Humane Society was really good. And yeah, just like the sheer power of going, once again, my experience being unamplified and alone to being on a stage with a group of fantastic musicians and then just volume, it felt great,
There's power in numbers. There's no doubt about it, right?
exactly,
Our community band played in the 100-person thing with the kids, and it's just the feeling of being in a group that big, and it's kind of the same here, right? Like you guys have lots of volume behind you. We'll kick it back down the line. No, you got to hang on to the microphone. We'll do it one more time. So people are going to come watch a show at Nickel Days. The Nickel Days show is Friday night at 8 o'clock. Tell us what your favorite song is in the set so people can kind of watch out for that one. Everybody's got to answer this
Favorite song in the set? Oh boy.
You can go with all of them, but it's cheesy.
Give me just one
It's
moment.
lazy. Got the set list?
Yes. Here, I'll steal it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haney's
All
taking my
professional.
job now. I've been replaced.
I'm going to go ahead and say,
Nice.
I'm going to say Oil in the Ground. There's only so much oil in the ground by a band called Tower of Power from the 70s. And that's like, that music is my sensibility, man. It's like, it's fast, it's loud, it's it's challenging to play, has a good message, I guess,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
That's like that music's what got me into funk for sure. That sensibility.
Caught your attention, and that's the one that when you're lying in bed at night, you think, yeah, I can't wait to play that one again
Precisely,
tomorrow. Love it.
choice. Give that back because
Everybody knows the set list back and
That's
forth,
funny,
obviously.
eh?
Yeah, you guys got this.
you know what? That's a nice pull. I have to say Oil in the Ground too. David Garibaldi, fantastic funk drummer. Honest to God, I've been listening to that man play drums since I was probably 10 years old, and blows me away every time I hear something. So I stole Mark's idea.
No. Everybody can have the same one. Gabby, what you got?
I like God's May the Funk Be With You. We've played it a lot, but every time it has so much energy, and I get super excited when I play it. It's just a fun song to play.
Canadian
Yeah.
band? Nice. Okay, we'll watch for that.
Okay, I'll pick something different. I actually really like, there's a new tune in our set called South of the River, and it's one that Gabrielle found, and she arranged it for us, and it's just fun. It's fun to sing. It's not a super upbeat song, but I don't know, the melody's it's catchy, and it's a good tune. You'll just have to wait and come see us and hear it.
Friday night, Nickel Days. Come get it. Stevie?
Okay, so my favorite tune is Full Moon, and it's by a Winnipeg group named Moses Mays. So it's kind of cool that we're playing some Manitoba music, and it's my favorite because I arranged it. No, I'm just joking. No, actually, but when you're arranging a tune, you get like a whole new appreciation for it because you have to listen to every single part, and you're like, wow, I really appreciate this bass player. They are amazing. When you're like in your audio slower down and you're pumping up the bass part and trying to write it out, it was really cool. So after listening to a song over 100 times, you really get a deep appreciation for it, and it's a really fun tune, which is also going to be featuring a local rapper here in town. So hopefully he pops by and he's part of our interview.
He shows up here at any any minute. Fantastic. Sarah?
I was gonna say Full Moon too, actually. I grew up in Winnipeg and went to River East, and there's a bunch of River East alum in that band, and I remember hearing them when I was in high school and just looking up to them and just thinking it was so neat. And then they came to Brandon and played once, and when the idea came up to cover one of their tunes, I was really on board. It's pretty sweet, yeah.
What a story. I love that one. Kevin?
Well, I was going to say Full Moon too. So to be contrarian, I'll throw out the 5-alarm funk tune, God's Made the Funk Be With You. Working with Josh Deschambeau from Poetry in Motion, doing something different with that tune. It's by a Vancouver band, 5-alarm funk. They're a great group, but we've sort of pulled the piece apart and rearranged it in many different ways, added rap to it, which was never originally in, and so we sort of made the piece our own, and I'm really enjoying that one.
How great is that? Last 2 questions to you, and then we got to wrap this up. Although I wish we could stay here for an hour, but Paul said 30 minutes. That's it. That's all we got. So I think I'm getting the sense that everybody brings tunes to the group, but how do you guys decide on what you play or where the songs come from? I mean, it sounds like, to me, I just love the fact that you're arranging your own songs and bring them. So how does that happen? Does everybody just show up one day and say, okay, we're going to try this one, this is my favorite song, or where does the set list come from?
A little bit, yeah. Sometimes have a bit of a list of things in the pipe that we're looking at, having a listen to. We do write a couple originals, though a lot of the stuff is some of the more classic recordings. We've been doing a lot of recently more popular music, trying to do for stuff like Nickel Days and Wolfstock, engage with the crowd a little bit more. So we've been really exploring some of the funkier pop music out that's right now, or the funkier rock music, and sort of everybody comes in with different ideas all the time, and it's a very collective, creative process, I think. Yeah.
Love that there's no dictatorship here. Last one. Where do we find you on social media and the elephant in the room? You're going to be you. You guys are dipping. You're going to Winnipeg. We got all kinds of nonsense going on here. So what's the future of Northern Dysfunction? Small hiatus, maybe?
Yeah,
hopefully we all end up in the same place again shortly.
We'll certainly be going. We'll certainly be going on hiatus here. That's sort of the nature of Thompson. Anybody who's spent enough time here knows
that's how bands work. I think if you're not U2,
yeah,
you don't last
One
forever.
Thompson, people come and people go, and you have to say goodbye to good people, unfortunately. And it's always a disappointment, but through it, we've had a lot of new experiences. This group only emerged because of a bunch of other musicians who moved on. So I don't know what it's going to look like next. This one has been one we've had and been running a little longer than some of the other groups. I kind of feel like maybe some of us have our claws into this one a little tight, and we might not want to. We might want to try to get a little bit of a new reincarnation of this group. But perhaps it'll be something completely different. We're always looking for new musical experiences.
Somehow, some way. So absolutely, people got to get to Nickel Days Friday night, 8 o'clock. Might be the last chance to see you. There's going to be a reunion tour. You're going to storm the world. You'll do Europe and all that kind of stuff. But let's not miss it on Friday night at Nickel Days. If we're looking for information on you guys on the web, you got a Facebook page, right? What's the social media? Where do we find you?
Facebook page is kind of, for a younger crowd.
You don't have a Twitter?
We're not really.
Instagram,
we're not as social media savvy as we could be, but we are on Facebook, Northern Dysfunction. So please do check us out there. And
you and my mom are on Facebook. So
that's about it.
Facebook, let's do it. We're going to wait for Dag. We're going to do one more tune, or do you guys want to just knock one off here?
Shoot him
Okay. Take a break. We'll be right back. We're back on Up Front here on Shaw TV. For you guys watching, that was no time at all. For us, it was about 10 minutes. These guys are going to play us out. You're going to play?
We'll be performing Sing by Ed Sheeran, arranged by Mark Nemeth, and featuring Dag here is joining us for a couple tunes at Nickel Days from Poetry in Motion.
It's going to be too good. This is Northern Dysfunction right here on Up Front.
laughing